Have you ever read something like a text or a document you're about to send, and after reading it like 5 times, you still ended up missing the obvious mistake? Yeah, that's because there's a part of our brain called Prefrontal Cortex, PFC, and part of its job is to process patterns and add predictions. So it goes ahead to infuse what is familiar into what you are doing at the moment, just so it can save the brain from overworking unnecessarily. For instance, you can write a sentence and forget to add the word the, but it's not obvious, and that's because the brain has done the work to add it even when it has not been typed out on the document. But here is part of the psychological effect. Prefrontal cortex goes ahead to make assumptions for you, especially if the situation feels familiar. It says, based on what I have experienced before, I am going to go ahead and assume that this is what it means, but sometimes it is not true. So, if your past relationships include emotional neglect, pain, manipulation, and all of that, when next you suspect something close to that in your new relationship, your PFC goes ahead to make sense of it and infuse a familiar meaning based on your past experience. PFC can fill in emotional situations based on what we expect and not what is actually happening. Are you following me? Here is the issue. A lot of times, these cues that you picked up in your new relationship that makes you suspect that the past is about to repeat itself may not even be true. It's just your prefrontal cortex doing its job. But the danger is, if you surrender your entire life to the innocent PFC, it will fill up situations with meanings that feels familiar. What you can learn to do is slow down your reactions to things, especially the ones you have experienced before. Ask yourself, am I adding past meaning to a new situation? And sometimes you are right, the situation is exactly the same. But sometimes too, you may be wrong, and you don't want to damage something new with an experience from your past. So you see why constant renewing of your mind is good and necessary, because without it, your life may be defined by patterns. That's why you think because a fair fine man like me broke your heart in 2019, then all fair men must be a sign of danger. But no, that's PFC adding past meaning to a new situation. This year, you're gonna learn. Real.